The most frustrating betting loss does not happen when the game starts. It happens after you already found a real angle, opened the right market, and then discovered that the edge disappeared somewhere between your research and the button that says place bet. That is the hidden danger behind the title of this video. A bet can be smart at one price and ordinary at another. Your analysis can be exactly the same, the matchup can be exactly the same, and the player can be exactly the same, but the number on the ticket can turn a positive expectation into a bad price before you ever own the bet. Most bettors treat checkout like a formality. They find a pick, tap it into a bet slip, enter a stake, and look at the payout. But the bet slip is not just a receipt screen. It is the final version of the market you are buying. It shows the current line, the current odds, the current return, and sometimes a completely different price from the one that made the pick attractive in the first place. The first way your edge disappears is the simplest. The number moves. Imagine your research supports an over at -110. That price requires roughly a 52.4% break-even rate. You open the app, find the market, and see -120 instead. The line may still look familiar, so it is tempting to place it anyway. But -120 requires about 54.5% just to break even. That is more than a 2 percentage point jump in the hurdle you have to clear. If your projection only gave the original price a small advantage, that move can erase the advantage completely. The pick did not get smarter because the odds changed. The ticket simply became more expensive. This is why I pay attention to the price I researched, not just the name of the player or team. I want to know what number created the edge before I get emotionally attached to the selection. ParlAI is useful at this exact part of the process. I use ParlAI to keep the analysis connected to live odds, injury updates, lineup news, and matchup information instead of treating the first projection as permanent. I can choose one model for a focused opinion or compare up to 5 models when I want different assumptions challenged. The live chat helps me ask whether the current number still matches the original thesis, and ParlAI reflects on previous losses, so a bad price is not mistaken for a bad idea every time. Before I confirm a bet, I use ParlAI at parlay.cc to check the live context and make sure the price I am buying is still the price my reasoning supports. The second way the edge disappears is through a stale bet slip. A market can move while the slip is sitting open. This is especially obvious in live betting, but it can happen around lineup announcements, injury news, weather changes, and sharp pregame action too. The screen in front of you may show a selection you added 30 seconds ago, while the sportsbook is now asking you to accept updated odds or a different line. If the odds improve, you can decide whether the new price makes the bet more attractive. If the odds get worse, the correct move is to rerun the logic. Do not let the app turn your original decision into an automatic acceptance of a different decision. The third way your edge disappears is when the ticket becomes different from the bet you researched. This happens when the bet slip nudges you toward a parlay, an alternate line, a same-game combination, or an extra selection that increases the displayed return. The number gets bigger, the ticket looks more exciting, and suddenly you are no longer asking whether the original wager was good. You are asking whether the entire new package feels good enough. Those are different questions. A single at -110, a two-leg parlay, and a same-game parlay built around the same player are not interchangeable just because they share one selection. Each ticket has its own probability, payout, and price. If you change the structure at checkout, you need to change the analysis with it. Here is the process I use before confirming any wager. First, write down the decision price. If the bet looked good at -110, record -110. If it looked good at over 24.5, record that line too. This takes a few seconds, but it prevents the app from quietly moving the goalposts while you are focused on the player name. Second, set a range before you click. Maybe your analysis works from -110 through -115, but not at -130. Maybe the projection supports 24.5 but not 26. The exact cutoff depends on your numbers. The important part is deciding it before the market tests your patience. Third, compare the current ticket to the original thesis. Ask what changed. Did the odds move? Did the line move? Did the player status change? Did the market become unavailable and return with a different price? Did you add a selection because it improved the research, or because it made the payout more interesting? The math is straightforward. If you believe a wager wins 55% of the time, -110 can be profitable in theory because its break-even point is about 52.4%. At -130, the break-even point rises to about 56.5%. The same 55% projection has gone from a theoretical edge to a theoretical disadvantage without the player, matchup, or game changing at all. There is another checkout mistake that looks harmless, accepting a worse line because the difference feels small. A half point in a spread or total can matter more than the payout screen suggests, especially around key numbers. A player prop moving from 24.5 to 25.5 may look like a tiny adjustment, but it creates a new condition that your original research may not support. This is where line shopping helps, but only if you do it before you settle on the ticket. The point is not to collect every possible app. The point is to compare the same market, the same line, and the same odds before assuming the first available price is the price you deserve. The cleanest rule is this: never let the place bet button make the final decision for you. Before confirming, read the ticket from top to bottom. Confirm the market, the line, the odds, the stake, the potential return, and any player or lineup conditions. Then ask whether you would still make the bet if the payout number were hidden. If the answer is yes and the accepted price is inside your range, you are at least buying the wager you researched. If the answer is no, the edge may have disappeared at checkout, and passing is part of the process. The best betting process does not end when you find an angle. It ends when the ticket still reflects that angle at the exact price you are accepting. Research finds the opportunity. The checkout screen decides whether you actually bought it.